So what happens when we have some mixed numbers that we're subtracting where we have to regroup? 4 and 5 ninths minus 3 and 5 sixths. I already know that we're going to have to regroup this one because I planned it that way. But let's look at what happens when we regroup with mixed numbers. First, I still have to find that common denominator for 9 and 6. I can't count by 6 and get to 9, and I can't count by 9 to get to 6. I'm going to have to list those multiples of 9 and list those multiples of 6 and find the least common multiple. So, 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, 72, 81, and 90. Those are the first 10 multiples of 9. 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, and 60. Those are the first 10 multiples of 6. We see right away 18, 36, and 54 are common multiples, but 18 is the least common multiple. So we're going to use 18 as our common denominator. So the least common multiple of 9 and 6 is 18. So that means the least common denominator that we're going to use for 4 and 5 ninths minus 3 and 5 sixths is also 18. So we're going to multiply 4 and 5 ninths times a fraction equal to 1. So we're multiplying 4 and 5 ninths times a fraction equal to 1. Okay. Well, 9 times 2 gives me 18. So there's my denominator. So it's going to be 2 over 2 is my fraction equal to 1. Whatever I multiply the bottom number by, I must also do it to the top number. 4 times that 1 is 4. 5 times 2 is 10. 9 times 2 is 18. So we've renamed 4 and 5 ninths to 4 and 10 eighteenths. Not changed its value, just given it a new name. I'm going to do the same thing with 3 and 5 sixths. Multiply it by a fraction equal to 1. Okay. Well, 6 times 3 is what gives me 18. So my fraction equal to 1 will be 3 over 3. 3 times the 1 is 3. 5 times 3 is 15. 6 times 3 is 18. And now I just subtract. Or do I? We've not really talked about it, but can I do 10 minus 15? Not in this context, so I'm going to have to do some regrouping. I'm going to borrow 1 whole from 4 when I regroup. But 1 whole is the same as 18 eighteenths. So I'm borrowing 18 eighteenths from 4, and I'm going to add it to the 10 eighteenths that are already here. 18 eighteenths plus 10 eighteenths makes 28 eighteenths. So now, instead of having 4 and 10 eighteenths minus 3 and 15 eighteenths, what I have is 3 and 28 eighteenths minus 3 and 15 eighteenths. 28 is larger than 15, so I can subtract. 28 minus 15 is 13 eighteenths. And 3 minus 3 is 0. And I don't have to put a 0 as a whole number there. So my final answer is 13 eighteenths. So we have the same problem here. 4 and 5 ninths minus 3 and 5 sixths. And we're going to look at regrouping it a little bit differently than we just did. We've already changed it and renamed 4 and 5 ninths to 4 and 10 eighteenths. And we've already renamed 3 and 5 sixths to 3 and 15 eighteenths. But I want to take a look at what I really have as far as a problem goes. What I'm looking at is 4 and 10 eighteenths, which is the same as saying 3 plus 1 plus 10 eighteenths. And I have 3 and 15/18, which is the same as saying 3 plus 15/18. See, what I'm doing is I'm breaking apart my fractions a little and mixed numbers a little bit. This 1 I know is going to be a whole. Well, that's the same as saying 18/18. So this becomes 3 plus 28/18. And this is still 3 and 15/18. And then when I subtract, I get 13/18 and a 0 in my whole number column. Same idea, or same answer, just a little different way of breaking it down and regrouping the problem so that we can work it out. Steps are the same. Still had to have same denominators before I could subtract, just a different way of regrouping. Let's look at this same problem a third time and do it a completely different way. We want to change this mixed number into an improper fraction, and we want to change this mixed number into an improper fraction, subtract, and then see what our answer is. So let's do that. Using that idea that we've already done, we multiply. 4 times 9 is 36, plus 5 would be 41. So we have 41 over 9, okay, minus 6 times 3 is 18, plus 5 would be 23, minus 23 over 6. Now we're running into that same problem, though, that we had earlier. I can't subtract because I have uncommon denominators. I know 18 is going to be my least common denominator, so I can fix that problem. Multiply by my fraction equal to 1, and I'm going to get 82 over 18. So 41/9 gets renamed 82 over 18. (23/6) is going to get renamed 69 over 18. And then I can simply subtract. 82 minus 69. And I get 13/18. We've looked at 3 different ways that we can regroup and subtract mixed numbers here. Any one of those 3 ways works. It's just a matter of which one you feel the most comfortable using. Always remember, though, before we can do anything, adding or subtracting with any mixed number or any fraction, we have to have common denominators. Let's look at another subtracting mixed numbers problem. 4 3/8 minus 1 3/4. All right, well, got to have that common denominator. Okay, well, I can count by 4s, 4, 8, and get to 8. So I know what my common denominator is going to be with this one. It's going to be 8. So I'm going to multiply 1 3/4. There's a fraction equal to 1. That happens to be 2. 2 times 4 gives me 8. That's why I'm going to use that. So 1 3/4 gets renamed 1 6/8. I can slide 4 3/8 over to do the work. 3/8 minus 6/8 doesn't work, so I'm going to have to borrow. Regrouping, borrowing. From the 4, I take a whole away, so the 4 becomes 3. That whole is the same as 8/8. So 8/8 plus the 3/8 becomes 11/8. So I have 3 and 11/8 minus 1 and 6/8. 11/8 minus 6/8 is 5/8. 3 minus 2, or 3 minus 1 is 2. So my answer is 2 and 5/8. If we were to do this same problem, converting it over into improper fractions and then subtracting, let's look and see how that would work. So I have 4 3/8, and I'm going to change it to an improper fraction. 8 times 4 is 32, plus 3 is 35 eighths. And then I have 1 3/4. So 4 times 1 is 1, plus 3 is 7, so I have 7/4. So I have 35 eighths minus 7/4. Well, I'm still going to have to change my denominator. 7/4 times 2 over 2 equals 14 eighths. So I have 35 eighths minus 14 eighths. And I get an answer of 21 eighths. Well, I can't leave that as an improper fraction. So I have to go back to converting my improper fraction back to a mixed number. 21 divided by 8 is how an improper fraction works. 8 will go into 21 twice. That's 16. I subtract and I get 5. Well, complete out my circle, numerator, denominator, whole number, numerator, denominator, so 2 and 5/8 is my answer. So my final answer works out the same way, just a step at the end I have to do. Subtraction with mixed numbers with regrouping can be done a couple different ways, either with the regrouping or changing everything over into a mixed or an improper fraction and then solving. Whatever way you choose to do it gets the job done. Just make sure you have the same denominators when subtracting mixed numbers or subtracting fractions.